so they're going to steal it from Chalster. They know that if Dignitas is being extremely aggressive like they were in game number 1 and 2 and roaming around the map trying to pick up kills, then Chalster can get in there with the Nocturne.
Yeah.
You know, he generally has really good spacing. He knows exactly where he needs to be in order to you know, counter gank and pick up kills. So the Nocturne, it just helps them do that even more effectively. We'll see what they go. Maokai would also be a big pick here, but you know, this is going to be exciting. Dignitas, they have a very strong team once again. You know, they have the Patoy Blitzcrank that they've liked. They have the Gragas. There's the Nocturne pick.
Yeah.
It works so beautifully with this comp. All of them, they just dive in a team fight. Lulu has the ultimate to protect whoever she needs to. It's a triple knock-up. So Diana into Malphite, into Lulu ultimate.
Yeah.
Triple knock-up, massive AoE damage, and it's really great at picking off single targets.
Yeah, it should be really cool. I mean, the diving and then the CC, and then Doublelift gets to just sit in the back with his cleanse, just be safe and just deal out that damage. The poke on Ezreal is remarkably strong, so he gets to stay safe while the rest of his team dives in and does all of that CC and damage. So that's going to be really scary. So the question is, can Dignitas avoid that? Can they even battle that? I mean, they have some tools to do so. They have the Nunu ultimate, which, I mean, he's going to get knocked up, probably knocked out of his ultimate, so that's going to be rough. Gragas ultimate, extremely strong in that situation, clearing the room, so to speak.
That's going to be perfect.
That's going to be great to help him get away from I'm a Cutie Pie, allowing him to do that damage. But then you also have the knock-up coming out in the CC from Cho'Gath.
I think, though, if they try and engage onto Nunu and, you know, his ultimate's up, then his ultimate's going to be strong enough that it's going to help provide them for some of that separation. Or after they engage, if Dominate then uses his ultimate in team fights, the slow will just completely shut down CLG if they haven't already won that fight. And then Dignitas will be able to turn around. The same thing with Cho'Gath. Like you said, the knockup is really great at allowing them to disengage and kite, and we saw CLG use it very effectively. But this is going to be exciting.
Yeah.
The thing that's really cool about this comp that CLG's run is it's the most aggressive comp that we've seen out of CLG. When they're running this, that's when they look to push towers very quickly. And this is, you know, almost the same comp that Zubu Blaze has run that CLG likes. And when they're playing this, Big Fat, he leaves the mid lane a lot. He's very aggressive about roaming. We saw the past couple of games, Dignitas have been sitting back a little bit. They've been a little bit more passive. But Big Fat's very aggressive. Chalster, you know, very aggressive with those ganks, and we'll see what they can do.
Yeah, it should be really interesting, and I'm actually really expecting the 2v1 lane in this situation because of the success we saw from Big Fat on Diana last night against Absolute Legends, I think. Yeah. And, you know, he's just going to roam a lot, like you said, and we saw it was really, really successful, and it was really, and that was the game that they just stomped. Just absolutely demolished them. It was just really ugly. And, so, I mean, it's really, is Big Fat going to be able to get out of that mid lane, go top and roam, and be able to, you know, be successful?
I'm actually interested to see if you actually call the 2v1 right, because I've missed 2 calls so far on that 2v1. I thought they were going to do it in the game 1 and game 2, because CLG likes to swap that lane so often, and they didn't. So I'm curious if they're, you know, more comfortable with the 2v2, if they're just like, all right, you know, if Doublelift and Loco are like, hey, come on, guys. This is Cutie Pie and Patoy we're talking about. And you know, we have this lane. Yeah. But we'll see what they can do. And, Nick, real quick, do you know what Doublelift's name, like what the significance of his name is?
It's a Magic thing, right?
Yeah, it is.
Not Magic the Gathering, which some of you might be Magic the Gathering players out there. No, Magic tricks. Magic tricks.
Illusions.
Illusions, right, sorry. What's a trick again? No, I'm just kidding.
But it's a magic trick. And Doublelift that last game, he stole it right out from Dignitas. He stole it right out from
I was wondering where you're going. Just an excuse really for cheesy. A lame joke.
I know, it was a really lame one. But Doublelift, really impressive play. We'll see what he can do. His Ezreal's very strong as well, but doesn't quite have the same late game potential, carrying potential that his Vayne does. But we've seen him snowball games early on sometimes. And he always really likes that cleanse. It was interesting. Link, he actually tweeted out, you know, Doublelift's not a GA virgin anymore, because Doublelift, I guess, he never gets GA. And thinking back, he always gets QSS, and he uses the QSS to always keep his positioning in fights. But getting it last game, he said, or Doublelift responded back, yeah, well, you know, I would have gotten the QSS if there was anything for me to cleanse.
Because he's just that good.
Because he's just that good. But we'll see what's going to happen this game. I'm really excited. You know, both of these teams are going to pull out all the stops in this third game. You know, CLG, they have to be on watch against that Nunu. I mean, Nunu can really just control games early on.
Yeah.
Every single time I see Nunu now, it seems that he's able to win the game because he's such an aggressive counter jungler. But early fights, he's just so successful. And he's also very tanky. He's a very safe counter jungler because you go in, you try and steal something, and then you just walk out. You know, they are like, hey, there's Nunu. And you just, wave and get the hell out of there because he's such a tanky champion. He has the movement speed to do whatever the hell he wants.
And here we are, guys, in the game, CLG versus Dignitas, Game 3 of the finals of the Wild Card Qualifier. Winner of this is going to IPL5, gets to come hang out with me and Baron. And if you're coming to IPL5, you get to hang out with them too. So if you're rooting for CLG, if you're rooting for Dignitas, let us know on Twitter. And I think CLG is going to take this. They have the right comp. They have what they want. It's just a matter of, can they do what they need to do? Can they really get that dive going? Can they get that early game aggression going? Can they be successful in that?
And you know what this is looking like already? A lane swap.
Oh, yeah.
It's looking like a lane swap.
Yeah. Which makes me wonder, was Dignitas watching those games last night? Because if they were, they would know what's coming just like we know it's coming. Or maybe they're watching the stream right now. We just told them what's coming. But, I mean, the three-man dives under the towers are really what we should expect from Big Fat. We're going to see a lot of roaming there and a lot of pushing and a lot of aggression out of early game CLG.
Yeah, that 2v1 in particular is going to be really dangerous. Crumbs, if he lands a Rupture underneath the turret, that could turn it around for him. But basically what they're going to do is just zone him for a little bit, and then once they push into the tower, they're going to go in for it. So Dominate, he's going to want to alter his jungle path so that he's up by Crumbs around that 4-minute mark, or 3:30 to 4-minute mark, when the jungler might be coming in, because that's about when it happens. Around 4 minutes is when they go for it's when teams usually go for that behind the turret gank. So he's going to want to counter that out. But we've actually seen Chowster, he's not very rigid in his paths. He's very fluid, and a lot of times yesterday when we saw actually against Quanic for CLG, when Quanic was sending High L9 into the 1v2 to protect against those
Oh yeah, that was interesting play.
Chowster, instead of going there, he would actually go and steal all of High L9's jungle and gank the other lanes. So, Chowster, he kind of recognizes that maybe Dominate's going to do that, and he can account for it.
Both teams playing this very safe early on, not doing any invading, just getting their buffs and just sticking it, playing it safe. And we didn't see the blue buff going to Malphite in the 2v1 in bot, so that's going to be a little bit different than we've seen before, and we'll see how he does. And Batoy just missing that grab. That would have been nice, a little early game grab, doing some early damage to Malphite, but missing it, and Hotshot's a little bit more safe as a result.
Yeah, and we've seen Hotshot go for that early blue when CLG goes for an invade and tries to steal the enemy blue. But they're a little bit concerned right now. Their level 1 is solid, but they don't want to risk it, particularly against the Blitzcrank. And Dominate already looking for an invade, but there's great ward coverage from both teams. They haven't caught him out yet, but he tries to see if the red is up, if Nocturne maybe started at the blue, and he can maybe kill him at the red. He's not there. He walks down, he steals a Wraith, and already, starting to take advantage of CLG's jungle. So they need to get out an early ward. Dominate's definitely a jungler who threatens, or who forces ward coverage, because he's just such a threatening jungler. So they need wards into their jungle to make sure that he can't sneak up into that top lane behind CLG.
Yeah, and they better, ward while they can, because Nunu is someone who flourishes with the early oracles, especially with the move speed from Blood Boil. So get those early game wards, but eventually it's going to get to a point, I mean, you always keep putting them down, but he's going to be clearing a lot of your wards and be setting up some really, really sick ganks.
Is that 330 mark. Nocturne, he is pretty low, actually. So, I guess with Nocturne, maybe that route changes a little bit, because Nocturne does get kind of low on his first clear. So he will go back, he will buy, and we'll see where he decides to go after that. Dominate, he's in the bot side. Dignitas pushing in, and Hotshot, usually Malphite's pretty safe in the 1v2 because he can AoE the waves very quickly, but against that Blitzcrank, there's always the threat of that Blitzcrank hook in that 1v2, and you see he's missing out on so much farm, whereas a lot of times you'll see Malphite just walk up and AoE it. He can't comfortably in this situation because of the Blitzcrank pressure.
We're seeing a lot of aggression out of top lane, just really pushing down that lane. This is what we saw against Absolute Legends last night, except Big Fat was taking several trips up through the opponent's jungle to dive onto that tower and get those early kills. So look for that as we move into a little bit later this early game. And then the Hotshot not doing a terrible job in the 2v1 7 farm, just trying to farm it up a little bit here and there while he can, just trying to play safe. But the big thing is just to not die and not let your opponents get too big of an advantage while your top lane does the work.
And Chauster moving down, just playing safe. Dominate was playing safe as well, trying to come in. Dominate after the slow from Scar, that body slam, chasing him down some, get some quick damage. The pullback from Big Fat, just making him pay a little bit. But he's going to be forced out of that lane. He's a little bit low, so he's going to fall a little bit behind on Scar. And that's actually going to allow Dominate to be a little bit more aggressive because he knows that he has the mid advantage, so he has that help. Chauster moving in at the same time wants to make sure that, while Dominate's trying to take something, he can grab something as well, but now it seems he's caught out.
And here he goes, Skara initiating in on Chauster, getting that fear off, sending him the right direction, I guess you could say, away from him. That could have been a bad fear into him, but sometimes you get lucky, and he did in that situation. So Nocturne able to just roam back into his jungle and continue to farm.
Cutie Pie pushing down that bottom turret. Hotshot actually is forced to teleport down, so his teleport is down. Cho'Gath still has his, but there hasn't been quite as much tower pressure so far in the top. There's a little bit actually, but he's been able to range farm, so Cho'Gath tends to be very strong in that 1v2, and neither team really taking an early advantage yet, but Skara definitely in a good situation mid. Big Fat hasn't gone back yet, but he's just trying to see what he can get before Scar starts to get any items, and wants to catch up on farm when Scar in particular goes back in the base, so he's going to catch up a little bit here.
Yes. The one thing that's different about this game than what we saw at CLG play Absolute Legends is Skara on Gragas has the ability to push the waves extremely quickly and push up to the tower, so it might be a little bit more risky for him to go out into that top lane and try to get those ganks. With that constant pushing from Gragas, I'm not sure if he'll have time to make that happen.
Yeah, that's a great point. So it's the burst damage of Gragas always threatens Big Fat, but also if he's constantly knocked up against his turret, that can slow him down. But I'm curious, who's going to leave lane first, because we had seen how aggressive Scar was in game number 1, in particular when he was playing that Gragas. Gragas had to be banned game number 2. He gets it again, but all of game number 1, he was just grouping with Dominate and just roaming all over the entire map. We saw it some game number 2 as well, and they were able to win a number of fights early on. Double Lift and Loco Doco, they're going to be able to strike first. They're going to be able to take down this turret. So CLG wins the 1v2 swap for the most part. Cho'Gath behind Hotshot as well. The teleport is down for Hotshot, but they're actually able to put themselves in a good situation here. And now Skara dropping a ward over, they're preparing to potentially steal that blue later.
We had talked earlier about CLG not taking towers early. Well, look what just happened. They just took an early tower, and looks like they're just going to be moving around trying to make a play before maybe going back to the bot lane to try to take that tower, or at least realign with that 2v2, hold on to that early tower gold. And Hotshot getting a little bit out, man. You're taking some damage, we'll see, and he ults out, playing it safe, no need to risk it in that 2v1 lane, and he's going to live another day.
Yeah, but he is safe. He's falling a little bit behind in farm, but not as much as Cho is. Neither of them really need a lot of farm to be that successful. So, they're definitely okay 1v2 champions. Dignitas was able to steal that blue, so that really puts Gragas behind if they can't steal it back. So they're kind of want to pressure this a little bit, but it was a late blue. They are moving up now to see what they can do. Dominate's here, Patoy is here as well, but it's going to be a potential 3v3, and Nocturne's not that far away as well, so Big Fat poking in. But CLG, or Dignitas, they should be in a good situation to take this.
Yeah, just really zoning out CLG. Double Lift a little wary to go in, but here comes Chauster on Nocturne. He's only level 5. Oh, and the dive in from Big Fat. He loves that Diana. The Gragas ultimate going to save him, and looks like you're going to make it out of there. But the hard dives, if Nocturne had level 6, that would have been a lot different fight. But they get out of there. They go on. They're going to fight. They're going to go back to bot lane. They're going to farm it up a little bit.
Well, and they just barely pick up the blue. Cutie Pie, he's in a great situation having that blue. So they're already, kind of pressuring CLG's bot lane. They should have a little bit of control over that bot lane, so it's going to be kind of dangerous for Ezreal and Lulu, particularly if Lulu gets caught. But having that blue helps out a lot in that bot lane, and Scar missed it. Big Fat now pressuring him. He has the blue, so he has that regen. He has a little bit of health from those Dorans, so he doesn't necessarily die as quickly to Scar, and maybe he can turn that lane around. So definitely a pretty tense situation across the map for everyone. And Hotshot starting to pressure down the top a little bit. Crumb's playing defensively, doesn't want to get caught off. He doesn't quite have vision of everyone on CLG right now.
Yeah, just in pure Cho'Gath fashion, just playing it slow, taking it easy, building up those ult stacks.
Chauster's right out of range. If Big Fat gets the engage, Chauster could follow up with the Nocturne ult and just get an insta-kill.
Yeah, look at that. I really like that smite and that Q right there, stealing the Wraith. That's pretty neat. I've never seen that. I probably should have at this point in the game, but really cool. Just continuing to take those Wraiths. What's that?
It's all right. You're a Zyra player.
Yeah, that's right. I got nothing going for me in life, and but yeah, continuing to just steal that Wraith. It's, you know, after a while that really starts to add up. And Chauster's in good shape. He's level 6 now. He has that ultimate, so I'm expecting something coming out of him pretty soon. At least some play coming from CLG. Something aggressive.
But it's insane. I mean, compare NA not that long ago with this now. All of the ward coverage in the jungle, so the entire bot lane is secured. You know, both teams know what's going on. Then CLG in the top, they have really aggressive wards as well. So it, you know, really great ward coverage from both teams, keeping an eye on everything. Poitoy, he's coming down. Loco Doko's way out of position. There's the exhaust into the hook. He gets the knockoff after the cleanse, after the flash out. Dominate is going to take this tower now. There is the strength of the Nunu. The missed Ezreal ult, not that it would have done them much good anyway. And Dignitas picks up an early kill in that bot lane.
Really good aggression coming out of Dignitas, just sticking it to Doublelift, and that's what you needed to do in Game 2, and they're doing it in Game 3. They need to limit Doublelift's farm. They need to limit his levels. They need to just hold him back, so when they move into the mid-game, he's not going to be around. He's not going to be relevant in those fights, and it's going to be easy for them. Doublelift made the difference in Game 2, and they don't want him to make the difference in Game 3.
They take the bot turret. Even if Scar wasn't in that fight, he was in position to be prepared, but Hotshot comes down to pressure Scar in that mid lane. If Scar hadn't backed off, that could have been an insta-kill. They could have just Malphite ultimate into the Diana, into the Nocturne, and just dropped him really quickly. But he gets out of there, and he's able to get back into lane, so really safe play. But I really like how Scar left this mid lane and started heading down bot, so that if things went sour for Dignitas, they at least had the backup.
Yeah, absolutely. We see similar things out of Stanley. Oh, Big Fat going in on Skara. And this is, oh, the burst from Skara on that ultimate. Big Fat getting caught out, and he's going to get burned down pretty quick because he's an AP with not a lot of life. And Loco comes in like he's going to save him, but he wasn't able to do so, so now he's just going to hang out in lane with Nocturne to help and prevent Skara from doing any damage to that tower.
Well, Gragas, he knocks him out of position, but the chasing power of Nunu follows up on it, and Diana is a really great offensive champion, but when she's trying to escape, she doesn't really have that much going for her.
Right.
So, really nice pressure from Dignitas, and we'll see who grabs the first oracles. Both teams kind of sitting back for a bit, and Chauster even grabbing the pink ward for that dragon, so that they can potentially press that, since Nocturne has that dragon advantage. Dominate also on Nunu is very strong at controlling the dragon, but the dragon speed goes to CLG right now. So we'll see if he actually tries to force that.
Yeah, we haven't seen any ultimates out of Chauster just yet, and I expect to see something soon. The pink ward's just controlling dragon. Dignitas isn't having it. They're looking like they want to get into position and make something happen. Scar coming around too, while Cho'Gath is up in the top lane just hanging out with teleport ready to go.
Diana is off on the side here. There's the initiation from Diana. Dominate way out of position. He will go down. The rest of his team just leaves him there. They recognize he was a lost cause. It was a 5v4 situation that they didn't want to fight. And now Hotshot teleporting top. So not only did they win the 5v4 because Cho'Gath wasn't there, but then Hotshot's able to stop that Cho'Gath push. So Dignitas gets nothing out of it, and Dignitas, or CLG, pulls back into the lead.
Did Nunu have oracles? I didn't see.
No,
I don't think so. Okay, cool. Well, that's a plus.
No, that would have been devastating.
That would have been devastating at that point. So CLG slowly creeping back into this, and by that I mean they're actually ahead by 5.5k gold, and not as strong of a presence, not as strong of a showing out of Dignitas in this game. Not as aggressive as they want to be, and also CLG not playing very aggressive. Still have seen a Chauster ultimate. They're playing safe. They don't want to go all in, and that's understandable. There's a lot on the line in this game.
And so Hotshot still pushing up top. They have the teleport advantage with Cho'Gath if they try and force a fight, but they're probably going to sit back for a moment. They want to go back in the lanes, try and let bot lane win potentially against Doublelift and Loco. Doublelift out farming Cutie Pie at the moment, and the one assist isn't really that much to make up for the dragon, so Doublelift definitely ahead in the situation. But we'll see if Poitoy can maybe make any miracle grabs. Scar now moving out of the top lane. He's going for the red steal, but they caught him with this ward, so he's in a dangerous situation, and Hotshot's trying to close as well.
Hotshot trying to respond by going for their blue. And Dominate getting cut out ultimate onto Scar. Oh, and the Nocturne ultimate too. And the Nunu hole is really going to help out Chauster now. No mana, no life. going to get chunked down. Hotshot, I don't know if you're going to make it out too. Big Fat, you don't have a lot of tankiness, man, and he's getting burned down too.
And Corky are here as well. They're coming in. Big Fat tries to jump back into him, but it's a 5v2. Big Fat, he's a lost cause. He's way out of position, but Patoy with the hook back onto Hotshot will be able to grab that as well. The quick flash from Hotshot to get over that wall. Scar still has the body slam. It will proc that red, but he's just barely not able to grab it. And in the meantime, the Ignite, can it take it? In the meantime, Doublelift and Loco, they're grabbing that bot turret. Hotshot just barely surviving. A nice couple of kills, and then Crumbs teleports down bottom to just try and barely save it.
And this is really scary, actually, for Crumbs. The tower's almost going to go down, but Dignitas gets this mid turret in response. Hopefully Cho'Gath can make it out, and he looks like he will. So Dignitas putting themselves in a good position, just becoming the leaders in this game, and really just great grabs, great map awareness, and great wards are really helping Dignitas take advantage.
And now Dominate's not trying to let them leave.
He didn't know. He didn't know.
He was out of there. He did drop the ward at the last second. So running down check, and Doublelift just walks out. So Dignitas comfortable with the kills that they got. They don't want to force it further.
Yeah. So we'll see how CLG responds to the aggression that Dignitas has been putting on. Actually, I mean, they haven't really been putting on that much aggression. It's really the response to the CLG aggression in that last fight that really made it so they won. Really good map awareness and moving around, fluidity on the map. And, you know, I was saying we haven't seen a Chowster ultimate because they don't want to go all in. Well, they went all in, and they paid for it, and that was the gamble that they took.
Yeah, but part of the issue was they were kind of split. They were trying to force an engage from a decent distance. You know, Hotshot was kind of out of position. They caught Scar. They're like, all right, you know, we'll get in there. But Big Fat wasn't there yet. So Big Fat was a slight step behind. And so when they both engaged, they needed the Big Fat damage already to just burst down Scar, and he wasn't able to get in. So he actually almost never got in on Scar. And then Nunu had the ultimate for the separation. And that Nunu separation, that was kind of what we were talking about in Champ Select also, which is in team fights, they're going to force a heavy engage with Diana and Nocturne and Malphite. But if they don't accomplish anything, like if they can't get any kills or win the fight in that engage, then the Nunu ultimate is just going to completely shut them down.
It's going to blast them. So that's actually a really strong pick against this specific comp, as long as he can get the Nunu ultimate off. And there's a lot preventing him from doing that. And now we see actually Nunu with that Oracle, so that's going to be really strong for them now.
Yeah, Nocturne, he actually doesn't have one yet. Loco Doco not grabbing it either. So they have the vision advantage. There's a lot of wards for them to clear. A couple of them already dying, but that's definitely going to help out Dignitas a lot. And we saw Scar, he just left the top lane, or the mid lane. He was going towards the top. So Dignitas is at the point in the game where they want to roam and they want to take advantage of Scar's strength right now. They know Gragas is incredibly powerful. He's going to instantly win every single team fight that they fight for the most part right now.
Yeah.
So they want to be able to use that. And having that Oracles, it allows them to take advantage of CLG and maybe win that map control battle.
You know, North Americans are actually, you know, pretty known for their farm and for staying in lane. And now with this aggressive, you know, play, the farm is actually a lot lower than I think what we see out of a lot of, you know, heavy farm players like Skara. 128, I think maybe the old Skara would be somewhere considerably higher than that at this point in the game. That's still pretty good, but I think the old style of sitting back and farm is you know, it's not there anymore, and we're seeing a much more aggressive Skara.
And at least for Skara in the mid lane, as a mid laner, he was a guy that was always really well known for taking the wraiths, which it seems like he might do here, but no, he does back off. It is a dangerous situation. He actually misses the ultimate. They will want to back off of this. They're trying to put some pressure on, but it's not the best situation for them. But Skara, out of the mid lane, he would farm, but he would also take the enemy mid wraiths all the time. You know, when he was playing the AP mid Soraka, he walks up, star calls, takes the wraiths, and that was something he always did. But now, because he knows that CLG has that quick burst potential and has the potential to just instantly engage and kill him, playing a little bit more defensively. We haven't seen them taking the wraiths, which is how mid lanes usually get that really heavy farm. You know, both of the top laners, they were in that lane swap. That puts them in a tough situation to farm. Yeah. So it really just comes down to the ADs, and both ADs are farming exceptionally. Doublelift 175, he's in a really great situation right now.
Yeah, he sure is, and that's going to help him a lot because he is a little bit behind in terms of kills. He's 0-1, but they're letting him kind of just sit back and farm, and that's, you know, apparent with his significant farm that he has right now, almost 180. So that's going to be helping him out a lot. Meanwhile, Hotshot just walking around, checking things out, seeing what there is to see. You know, Malphite versus Cho'Gath is the most boring fight in the world.
Oh, he stole it. Scar
oh my
with the
gosh,
over
very
the wall,
nice.
Steals the blue.
Yeah, and they even had that word there, so they must have known they were there, but not expected him to actually get that. So really good on Scar. That's going to be significant.
And both Crumbs and Hotshot coming down. Crumbs recognizing that Hotshot's teleport is up because he had used it first, but Crumbs, his was still down, so he needed to get back in there to help out his team. Hotshot kind of caught out of position here. Crumbs is in a good situation, but they're kind of split. They have to back off for a second because Big Fat trying to engage on them very quickly while they're split, and they do retreat. So Dignitas getting really good position. There's the ultimate from Gragas. Not doing quite as much as they would like, but Big Fat almost went down.
Oh, that was a beautiful flash out of Cutie Pie, and looks like Dignitas is going to turn this around. Loco Doco, you're going to go down pretty quick. Double If getting caught out too, forced out of the fight. No one's down it. I'm a little bit surprised, but that's okay because Scar is there to try to clean up. Chowster gets knocked up. And then Chowster goes down, and that is significant. It's 4v5 now. Dignitas with a lot of presence on the map. Big Fat getting caught by Scara. He's going to need to run away. Can Scar make this happen?
Oh, he throws the barrel. Big Fat flashes, but now he's trapped. He doesn't have a good escape, so it kind of baited him out for a second. He can try and get over to a minion, but he has no hope for getting out of there. Patoy comes in, gets the silence, gets the knockup. Ezreal, on the other hand, he's looking for his escape as well. Double Lift in a dangerous spot. There's the rupture. It lands. They pick up another kill. So the fight that originally started, Dignitas easily won that fight, but it was only one kill for them. They were only able to grab one person from CLG, but then tracking down the stragglers, they're able to pick up a couple more and turn it into a massive advantage.
Yeah, I was really waiting in that team fight for the Malphite ultimate, and when it finally came, Cutie Pie was waiting too. Cutie Pie was ready for it with that flash out of the way. It was really coming down to, could they get a strong initiation out of that Malphite? And the answer is no, they can't, and so they lost that fight.
Yeah, they were lacking on the initiation. Dignitas started the fight, and even though Scara missed on his ultimate, he scattered them, or he was able to hit, but it didn't do a lot of damage. But he scattered them, and they were all split, they were all low, and then because it was 2 on one side and 3 on the other, Dominate, he just flashed in and Nunu ulted, which is not something you usually see. So he was able to just AoE everyone, and they all dropped almost instantly.
Loco Doco almost all of his life off that, Pretty scary stuff. And, I mean, that's really what's coming down to. Can they knock Nunu out of his ultimate, or is he just going to get to sit there and just blow the whole thing?
Well, and who engages the fights? Because after if CLG can bait out the Gragas ultimate, they want to turn it around on Dignitas. They want to force the fights. They want to wait until Dignitas is clumped up, and then boom, Hotshot ultimate into the Diana, or Diana first, because she sets up the Malphite very effectively.
Yeah.
But he didn't go for that Zhonya's first. He's going for the Abyssal, which gives him more damage, but maybe lacks the survivability. Scara's still coming in. He could maybe get this. The pull as well.
They're so scared.
But they back off, so CLG's okay for now. Double Lift pushing down the bottom lane, and so now this is kind of it says two things. For CLG. One, their split pushing is always really strong. We've seen Double Lift take inhibitors while the enemy isn't looking.
Yeah.
But the second thing is, it shows that CLG's a little scared right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
It shows they're concerned that they can't win these fights. For them to send Double Lift off to the side because they're trying to slow down the game by having him split push, but it means that maybe Dignitas can take advantages elsewhere.
Yeah, it's a little bit scary, though, too, because if he gets caught out, that's probably a Baron for Dignitas, and that is something that you don't want to happen. So he's going to be, backing out. He's going to be safe, thank goodness. And CLG looking like they want to sneak in here. Just checking out wards, just trying to give the impression that something might be going on. And so they actually don't go for Baron. They back out, and Dignitas continues down this mid lane. Yeah, now Cho'Gath pushing down the bottom, and because he had roamed down for the previous fight, his teleport is up. It wasn't up for the previous one, but it is up now, so he can split push. Hotshot's probably going to have to split against him, but Cho at this point in time, I think, should be able to win that because of the regen he gets from the minions, and he has a little bit more sustained damage than Malphite does. So that's going to be interesting. Maybe he even gets the knockup if he sees Hotshot going for the teleport, the knockup or the silence to shut him down. And then it'll be down to who wins the 4v4 outside of that. Double Lift actually splitting down bottom again. And CLG, they're really well known for their split push, particularly in the defensive end. And by keeping all of the lanes pushed, it kind of doesn't allow Dignitas to take any advantages. If they want to push down towers, then they have to do what Dominate's doing right now. They have to push all the way up the entire lane. And so it helps slow down the game a bit. It puts it back into CLG's pace and prevents Dignitas from forcing fights. Yeah, and the split push has been working pretty well for them. Maybe I should just say split farm because he's there. He's farming up. He's at 228. He's 48 farm ahead of Corki. Ezreal looking pretty strong right now. And you'd mentioned earlier, you know, there's been a lot of aggression, so these APs and these other champions haven't been able to farm as well as the AD carries. So really, it feels like the team fights are going to be coming down to, can the AD carry stay alive? Whoever stays alive the longest is going to be the most successful.
And Ezreal's key for staying alive, but Skara trying to get Chowster didn't wait quite long enough. Chowster's able to flash out of that body slam, so he's okay, but Big Fat comes back into the fight. He forces it. There's the Malphite initiation as well. Great AoE from CLG. They're in a decent situation, but Big Fat does go down. Chowster chasing after Skara, trying to pick up that kill. The fear hits. He barely gets it, and Dignitas in a terrible spot right now. Crumbs is still looking good, though. They might turn it around just because Crumbs is so tanky. Dominate does go down, and Double Lift, he should be able to kite and apply enough pressure with that red buff to win this exchange. So CLG, they were able to force that fight, and that was the key thing. If CLG forces the fight with Big Fat, then they can win it.
I was really surprised it worked out like that because Doublelift was nowhere to be seen in the beginning of that fight. He was over in the bot lane still. He ulted over, trying to be significant, trying to help out, and finally showed up at the last minute when all the CC was blown to come in and clean up. He stayed alive. Corki didn't, and that's really what made the difference. Corki was not able to get good position, was burned down.
And a lot of it was that Big Fat came in on the backside, and the reason I kind of jumped there in that fight was Big Fat, he came in behind Corki, and so he hit Corki in the back line, like around here by the river, and forced Corki into a bad situation. And then in order to juke, he had the free ultimate on Corki, and then he jumped into the middle of the fight. So he jumped onto Corki down here, and then jumped into the team. And that double jump, it brought him back to safety a little bit. He did go down, but he forced a really good fight for the rest of CLG. It set up Hotshot perfectly for a great ultimate, and their AoE was able to win it.
Yeah, we didn't see a good Malphite ultimate in the last team fight, and they lost. We saw an amazing Malphite ultimate in this team fight, and they won. So really, landing that is an important aspect of this comp that CLG has, so they can continue to land those, have good positioning, keep Doublelift alive on Ezreal. They're going to be really successful. For Dignitas, I mean, it's going to get harder and harder for them as they continue to scrape by and lose these team fights.
And part of the concern is going to be how tanky Hotshot gets if they can't wear him down, and if he can just kind of bully his way into their team. But Dignitas is still in a good situation because there's 4 members of CLG that they'd be happy to pull out of position with Batoy or happy to just insta-kill with Gragas. CLG is waiting. They have the Baron spot, so they're in the pole position right now. They can force a fight here with CLG, and then right when they walk through this little pit, they have the ward there. If they're trying to even clear it out, CLG can force a fight.
It's going to be really careful. That is a sneaky spot to be in, especially with that Malphite ultimate. They don't have a ward, though, so wow, look at these teams just being very careful, being very hesitant. Dominate, where are you going, dude? You're looking for it, and here they all come, and there is a strong initiation coming from Hotshot, and the dive in from Chowster. Will they be able to do enough damage? And I don't think they can.
Yeah, Cutie Pie goes down immediately. That is it for Dignitas in this exchange. Patoy, he drops as well. Chowster chasing down I Will Dominate. They should be able to get that Oracles, and that is going to be brutal. But the insta-kill onto Corki, like that's the strength of this team, is the fact that they can just drop on someone very quickly. Nunu had great separation in that fight. Dominate completely zoned Ezreal and Lulu, and that could have been enough for them almost, except that Corki was dead. And so without the Corki, even if Doublelift was zoned, it didn't matter. Now they're in a great situation to take this Baron. Big Fat still zoning off Crumbs. He's trying to get in there. He throws off the Rupture, but they don't quite have enough to take it. The Baron, it is very low, and they're trying to pick it up. Doublelift actually chasing down Skara, so he's going to go for the kill while his team is getting it, and Skara just barely getting out of there. There's the Baron for CLG, and this game has completely turned around once again against Dignitas. They, once again, through the early teens and 20-minute mark they're able to pull a lead because of that Gragas pick.
Yeah.
But then CLG turning it around beautifully both games.
Yeah, it's really a matter of can they do what they need to do in this team comp, and they're doing it well now. And my goodness, the Malphite ultimate with Lulu behind him, it's just really, really strong.
And baiting them into the pit where they know that Dignitas is all going to clump up, and they're hiding in the shadows waiting for him.
Yeah, and it just was a really bad initiation for Dignitas and amazing for CLG, and that was the difference in the game. And now I'm concerned. I don't know if Dignitas has enough damage to stay in this game. The tankiness of Malphite is going to be ridiculous and hard for them to handle, and with the shield from Lulu, they're going to have their hands full. So I'm really concerned for Dignitas in this situation. They have to keep Corki alive, and I don't think they can.
Yeah, that is the 100% thing for Dignitas right now. But if they keep Corki alive, then Blitzcrank and Gragas, they've always been magic men. They're able to make miracles happen.
Yeah.
You just pick someone off with Blitzcrank or Gragas and instantly win team fights. It doesn't matter what point in the game it is. Gragas can fall off if the enemy team is split, but if they're clumped up, he's going to be dealing just as much damage as usual, and it's only a 2k lead. It is slowly building for CLG right now. With that Baron, they can poke very aggressively. They can run down, just push these towers. Hotshot has so much armor that he can just outright tank the turrets with that Lulu shield. So that's a serious threat for Dignitas right now. They just need to hold off, see that they don't allow CLG to take too much from them while that Baron is still up, and just stall for that Baron. Oh, the hook from Patoy, almost getting over that wall. If they were able to pull him there, that would have been a huge one fight for CLG.
Absolutely. Skara goes in, seeing Chowster out all alone, trying to do some damage down. But here comes Hotshot with initiation on I'm a Cutie Pie, and that's exactly what they wanted. Oh my gosh, look at Cutie Pie going down. Meanwhile, Chowster goes down, and Dignitas actually not looking terrible in this fight. Corki is still up, but can't be in the fight because of how low his life is, and CLG just marches in because they can tank this tower.
Cutie Pie was alive, but what kind of life was it? They're able to force them back. The quick initiation from Malphite. He was taking the turret, getting a little bit low, but now they have minions here, and with Nunu down, it's going to be tough. But Cutie Pie is coming back. He's full. Hotshot's a little bit low. The barrel's poking him down. Can't quite hit double lift, but that turret goes down. And now with that red buff, they're chasing after Crumbs. He's way out of position. Big Fat jumping in. He gets the pullback, but he's a little bit too tanky. There's the Rupture as well. Patoy trying to get on Big Fat. Big Fat, they have the silence. They have the knockup. They get the quick kill. Patoy still has his hook. No, he actually used it. And double lift's able to back off, so they stall against that inhibitor, but still a lot of damage done by CLG in that instance.
Absolutely, and just adding to the gold advantage. It's small, but it matters. Oh my gosh, flashing out, forcing that flash. Oh my gosh, and here comes Corki coming in. He went a little bit too ham and got burned down. And Patoy, you're going to go down too. And look at CLG and the great position they're in. This is going to be big. They're absolutely going to get an inhibitor. Dignitas, they tried forcing CLG back while they were low. They were trying to see if they could pick anyone off. Crumbs a little bit too aggressive there, got greedy. He was very low, and they were able to poke in. And then the hot shot initiation back once again. They get the inhibitor. It is a 4v2. They are going to push down this Nexus. Can they take it once again? They did it the last game. They're forcing into Dignitas. Skara, he can clear the waves. It just doesn't quite seem like enough. There's Chowster coming in, just zoning them off for a moment as double lift is dropping their turrets quickly. And oh my gosh, this could be the end of the game here. The Gragas ultimate going in on double lift, and Skara gets chunked down, and it's 4v1. Dominate's getting taken down. CLG is looking really strong. Patoy, I don't think you can do a lot. Dominate trying to strike the grab on double lift, but Blitzcrank doesn't do a whole lot of damage. Corki coming in. Can he make the difference? The double kill for Corki with the new ultimate. They barely survived that Nexus push, but Big Fat is coming down now. Hopefully they don't push too far. Dominate backs off at the last second. He almost could have run right into him, and Big Fat has that GA. He's waiting over the wall, but it seems they're going to retreat. They know they need double lift. They need his pressure in fights in order to win these situations, but the inhibitor is down. The Nexus is down. The next team fight, CLG is just going to push right into their base and try and bully off Dignitas. They're in a position now where Dignitas needs to win 2 team fights, and CL just needs to win like a quarter of 1 team fight to be able to take this. One of the turrets is down. Is it both the turrets? Both Nexus turrets. Both Nexus turrets are down. That puts Dignitas in a horrible situation, but they're trying to counter it. They're trying to push up and trying to take some of those objectives. They get some tower, a little bit extra gold, but is it enough? I don't know. Skara is back trying to clear some minions or trying to buy some gold or doing something back at his base, and he's not in the fight. Meanwhile, Ezreal is up, and now it's scary again. Yeah, they're going to be able to push in very quickly. Just, thank God there's no ward right here for Hotshot to, if they split push and then Hotshot just teleports in. But they're engaging. Big Fat actually forces it on Skara. He used his ultimate, but it will be up shortly. It's only 10 seconds. Skara trying to retreat. Will Big Fat continue the push? The body slam gets him out of there, and CLG is just barely down this mid lane. Once they have these minions, once they have a big enough wave pushed up, they can just slowly wear down Dignitas until they wait for the perfect initiation from a Hotshot and then try and win it for that. So Dignitas, they need to be slow, and they need to pick someone off. Patoy almost grabbing that, but they need to wear them down and keep Cutie Pie alive. Cutie Pie just really hesitant to go in on this fight. He's seen the trouble that's been happening before. Chowster popping that ultimate, not going in on anybody. That's huge. Cho'Gath goes down, though, and that's going to be a serious problem.
Big Fat with the hook. There's the Gragas ultimate. It clears them out. CLG is all very low. Cutie still looking okay, but there's the Malphite ultimate into the Lulu. Double lift coming off the backside, trying to chase him down. Picks up the kill onto Loco or onto Cutie Pie. That is it.
God.
For nothing. CLG pushes in. They are going to win the IPL5 Wild Card Qualifiers. The hook back. Big Fat does go down, but he doesn't care because CLG, they did what they set out to do when they brought Loco Doco onto the team. They have won, and they will be coming to IPL5.
Oh my God.